see if I can do this without screwing this up. It's been 2 weeks since we've done a show, and I feel I don't think the word is nervous, more like brain dead. This is the Horror Syndicate Discourse, and tonight we're going to talk about a couple things, even against Seth's wishes. We're going to take a few minutes to talk about the new Firestarter movie and the old one because I think we would be remiss if we did not. Because it just came out. It's available on Peacock, and if you have Peacock, that's the way to watch it because it's not worth seeing in the theater. That's for sure. It's been about 2 weeks since the last time we were on the show. So if you're new here, please subscribe, hit the like button to boost us up, and all that good old shit. And back from vacation, but guess what? Next week we're not going to have a show because it's my birthday. So those of you that want to watch a show, watch one of the old ones. There's tons of them on YouTube, and you get many to pick from. We are possibly talking about the 1976 film Carrie very soon. The show Firestarter 2. But for now, I'm going to introduce Seth because it's just Seth right now. Jared may join later. He's stuck at work, and Nate is taking a pee day. He's peeing all over himself. So, Seth, are you there? Like, I don't see you. There you are.
Yes.
Okay, I thought I was going to do this shit all by myself. How are you today?
It's looking a little glitchy.
Is it me or is
What's
it you?
up?
Is it me or is it you?
Could be me.
You're doing well
My
now.
computer sucks.
Well, so does mine. If I tap my USB cable for my my camera, it'll go out. So I gotta keep my hands as far away from that as possible. How are you been, man? How you feeling?
If I look at my computer, it'll start to mess up.
Is that what it is? How you feeling?
Better.
Good.
Definitely
All
better.
right. So this should be fun. Real fast, I'm gonna tell you how I feel about the Firestarter movie. And Seth, you did see it, right?
Yep.
Yeah. First of all, I went ahead and rewatched the original Firestarter with Drew Barrymore, and it was 2 hours that I'll never get back. It was so boring. I thought I liked it at one point in time, but I don't remember seeing it. I remember Drew Barrymore. I think I've seen many scenes from the movie. Then I went ahead and watched the 2022 remake with Zac Efron, and boy, that was terrible. I definitely don't recommend seeing Firestarter in the theater and wasting your money because it's definitely not worth the money that you spend to see it. Go see Doctor Strange or something else, even though Doctor Strange wasn't great either. Seth, what are your hot takes on on Firestarter? Hot takes, get it?
Actually, I never saw the original movie until about 2 months ago. I read the book and I watched the movie immediately after. As far as the new one goes, I did not like it at all. I really liked the book. I thought it was really good. And I liked the original movie, mainly because it does kind of stick pretty close to the book. There are some changes, of course. But the new movie was just sort of like a condensed, watered down, very bland version of that story. And some of the changes they made with the characters, especially Rainbird, I did not care for at all. The ending made no sense to me.
In the new one or the old one?
In the new one.
Yeah, the end really kind of like after. Like I've never read the book, but after watching the first one, the original one, I like this character better, and I like the guy who played him really well too. But like I like this character. He wanted to he was manipulating her and wanted to kill her and all that shit, and like I thought that was great. Like that was some of the best stuff was when he was like making that little girl fall in love with him as as the janitor with the eye patch or whatever, and then the new one what a waste of fucking money to make, and don't waste your money to go see it. Is it better than I've never seen the Craft sequel, so I can't tell you. I'd like to see it at some point, but I don't know. This was a huge miss for me. I'll never watch it again. If it ever comes out on Blu-ray, I'll definitely never buy it. I may buy the original just to have it, but yeah, I would stay away from Firestarter if you can. So anyway, let us know what you thought in the comments. If you got the chance to watch Firestarter, we do want to know what you thought of it. Some people did like it. I mean, that was since it was like when Halloween Kills came out. It was all over Facebook. Everybody had an opinion. Everybody had seen it. So
It's kind of funny. This is from the same screenwriter as Halloween Kills.
is it really?
Yeah.
What happened?
So, I mean, the script. I'm lenient on Halloween Kills on the script for that because it's a slasher sequel. I mean, really, none of them have really had great scripts besides the first one, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So I was lenient on it for that, but seeing Firestarter, you definitely see the weaknesses of this writer.
Firestarter dies tonight. There we go. I haven't really dug King films for 10 years. Yeah. The It movies might be the exception. The first one anyway. I like the first one. Craft Craft sequel equals trash. So no date night, I guess. To watch the Craft sequel. Agree, Sherry. That is why I was hoping for the. Well, so she, I think she saw some of the remake. I don't remember how much, if she did or how much of it, but she was bored by it. It's boring. I thought the Firestarter remake was just fucking flat out boring and uninteresting. I actually, I'm not gonna lie, and we probably might lose some followers. I actually like Zach Efron for the most part as an actor. He's not terrible. Yeah, he was great as Ted Bundy in my opinion. But this just was not a good movie. So stay away from it. It's on fucking Peacock if you want to fucking go fucking fall asleep. It's just way too much.
The cast is actually really good,
Yeah.
But it's just I don't know. To me, it felt like they read the first half of the book, got bored, and the joke I've been making lately is that some executive was confused halfway through, asking, "Wait, is this a Stephen King book? Where's the kids on bikes?" The whole aspect that they included in this movie with the ginger bully kid, and the kids on the bikes. It was like they were trying to I don't know, trying to include the stereotype of what a Stephen King movie would be.
Trying to get that feel that just wasn't there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess you are in the same boat. You do not recommend this movie.
Not at all.
Yeah. Sherry says, I couldn't finish it. I feel bad saying that. I was excited to see it, but yeah, the trailers look good for it, in my opinion. When I saw the first couple trailers for Firestarter, I was like, damn, this doesn't look too bad. And
there's a big positive for this movie. It will probably won't shock you, Ray, but the score.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. No, the score was fantastic.
Yeah.
That was the only thing that was a good takeaway from that movie. That it's Carpenter's, right? Not the Carpenters from the 70s, but John and his son.
Yep.
Yeah, that was about the only thing, and it was a classic Carpenter score, and you could have found it in. You know what it kind of reminded me of, though, a little bit. There was moments of it that kind of went back to Halloween 3. I don't know if you felt that, but I got some Halloween 3 vibes from that, and even maybe a little bit of Escape from New York.
Yeah.
So yeah, the score was the best part of that damn movie.
Yeah.
Which really isn't saying much for it. Fabio Frizzi did the score. I wish. Fabio Frizzi, of course, did Zombie, City of the Living Dead, which I know Sherry loves, and The Beyond. I've never seen the first one. Sounded weird to me. It was not very much fires going on. Anyway, so that's what we think of Firestarter. I'm not sure if Jared saw it. I'm not sure what Nate thought of it either because I forgot. But we are going to talk about Carpenter just won Fangoria Chainsaw Award for the best score last week. Well, he deserves it. He's very good. But we're going to talk about Friday the 13th most of the episode. Our boy Jason, his birthday's coming up. I think it's June 13th or something like that. But first of all, did you get to watch some Friday the 13th on Friday?
I did. I watched 2, 3, and 4.
You missed the best one. All right, real fast.
I don't think it's true because I just said I watched part 4.
Oh, I know. So listen, if you guys, anybody watching, let us know your favorite Friday the 13th movie in the comments. We also have a question I'm going to pose to everyone after that. My favorite Friday the 13th movie has always been Jason Lives, which I got to watch with my girlfriend. And I also got to watch a little bit of, I watched part 7, and I got to watch a little bit of Jason Goes to Hell. And I was like, why am I watching this? Like I was trying to watch the ones I hadn't watched yet this year. And then when I was getting ready to go out Friday night, I put on Friday the 13th, 2009, because I needed some spectacular tits in my life. So with perfect nipple placement. Yeah. So anyway, let us know in the comments. But what we love Jason X. Are you Venom? Ray, I can tell you've lost weight. Thank you. It's because I've grown the beard out a little bit. It's getting ridiculous, but I appreciate that. My favorite one was the iconic sleeping bag kill. So powerful, so memorable. Yes. That's part 7. So anyway, Seth, let's talk about the lawsuit a little bit.
Okay.
What's happening? You're the man.
I didn't realize it.
We should have got Shelly on here, the lawyer.
I know, right? He'd be the better
Larry
one.
Zerner, yeah.
Yeah.
I should reach out to him.
Yeah. Just from what I've gathered, it's still going to be a little bit before we get another one. And there was a new article published by CNN, I believe, where there's some interviews with, there's an interview with, they got a couple quotes from Cunningham and from Larry Zerner. And to me, it seemed, especially from Cunningham's comment about they're both in the trenches, no one's throwing bombs, but there's no calls for peace talks at the moment. It just seems like they're going to continue to butt heads and let this franchise kind of go stale for even longer. Because, I mean, just to get a couple things out of the way first, though, before I continue on, because I do read a lot of comments, just to get some facts straight here. Mm-hmm. Both Cunningham and Miller were both against the idea of Jason being the killer in a sequel to Friday the 13th.
Right.
And that's well documented. They've said it multiple times. If you have Crystal Lake Memories or his name is Jason, they both say it in those. And Cunningham came back later on after after Paramount was done with the franchise and he got the rights back, and then he gave us 9, 10 Freddie vs. Jason and the 2009 remake. And what's going on with Victor Miller is he's just taking up an opportunity. And most fans are full of shit. They say they would never do the same thing. There's that. I just want to make it clear, because a lot of people, they take a side or two, and it's like, well, neither of them really cared for the Jason character until after it became popular. The franchise was really made by, Steve Miner, mm-hmm. Writer Ron Kearns, and producer Frank Mancuso Jr. Those are the people who gave us the Jason that we all know and love.
Right.
These guys, both of them, it's just about the money. That's why Sean came back to begin with.
Sean Cunningham's kind of a twat, so
yeah, and that's why Victor's doing it. It's all about the money.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, the whole thing is actually kind of complicated because the series does have that shift from 1 and 2. So, you know, Victor has the rights to the script for the first one and the characters and stuff like that, and the US rights. But then Sean has, it seems like Sean still has adult Jason with the hockey mask and the international rights. And so basically Sean can't really make a movie without getting Victor's permission, and Victor can't really make a movie without Sean, because you're not going to just want to make a movie just for the US. You're going to want that worldwide
money. Yeah.
So basically they need each other, but it's like, I don't know, Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau. They're they're the odd couple. They're the grumpy old men right now. And I just kind of wish that they would just both come to a deal, because the tough thing, especially for Victor, is he's pretty much got the rights to Pamela. And as much as any of us Friday the 13th fans would be totally cool with seeing a Pamela movie, that's not where the money's at. What people want to see with Jason is, or what they want with Friday the 13th, why they're going to pay their ticket, is for Jason Voorhees with the hockey mask. That's where the money's at.
Yeah. There's nothing else you can do at this point with Jason, in my opinion. They skipped the entire first movie in the last remake because they know what the moneymaker is. It's Jason and the hockey mask. I mean, I don't know that anybody would even care if there was a movie that was Pamela ever again.
Right. Well, exactly. And, and so that's what kind of puts Victor in a tough spot, because, yeah, he went ahead with this constitutional right he had to reclaim the copyright, but because the series, there was a shift in the series that he wasn't a part of, which is what the franchise is very much about, is what happens with 2 going forward. And he can't use adult Jason with the hockey mask.
What about Sackhead Jason? Like, he just said, I want Baghead Jason. I call him Sackhead, but
I don't even think he could do that, because he only has the first script. Him and Sean and Victor, they both bounced after the first one. And this constitutional right that Victor's was pursuing is only for the first movie, and it's a tough sell for him, I think. So they just need to put their differences aside and just kind of
die. What would happen if they died? Like what? Like, because they're both like, let's just play a little bit of devil's advocate and be a devil. What would happen if Sean Cunningham or Victor Miller died? They're both getting up there in age too, Like, do we even know?
No idea.
Like, does it go to one of their estates? I mean, I can't imagine Victor Miller has a great estate or anything like that, I guess.
Yeah, well, I think Sean represents Horror Inc., so
right.
It would probably be his end would still be with that company. As far as Victor, I don't know.
Sometimes my friends are just assholes. Yeah, I know it's morbid. I'm just curious, because like something just happened with Lord of the Rings because Christopher Tolkien, I think he recently died, and the rights went like there's something going on with the rights to Lord of the Rings. That's why I asked that. Not trying to be morbid or anything. I mean, heaven knows I'm morbid. My friend Brett keeps sending me dad jokes. So I'm going to read this one because it made me chuckle. He said, all the flights at the John Lennon Airport were grounded. Just imagine all the people. Okay. So anyway, yeah, like, I really wish they would get their shit together. I like the remake, first of all. I thought it was a fun. Did you like the remake?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was stupendous.
It was stupendous. That's a not stupendous nipples. Yeah, stupendous breasts. Whatever. Spectacular. I like spectacular. Yeah, both. Anyway. Fuck. I gotta go now. You are the show now. Okay, I'm back.
Well,
What MLB hat is this? This is a San Francisco Giants hat, but it stands for something else. The SF doesn't stand for San Francisco for me. I'll tell Seth off air. Sherry knows. Anyway, so the question I want to pose, like, and I think Nate brought this up in the chat. Like, where does the franchise go when they finally get to go? I mean, this is the thing that kills me. Let's first, before we go there, let's talk about how much money they're missing out on right now because of the success of Halloween. Everybody's thirsty like a motherfucker for Jason. I mean, Vince and Never Hike Alone 2 just made $200,000 on Indiegogo and crowdfunding, which is unheard of. I've never seen that for any kind of indie production. And Vince was going to come on, but he's on set right now. Easy Jason in the Middle Ages. That's what I am in my Middle Ages. Anyway, the remake had titties, fans. Yeah, well, that's a good thing. What's up, Luke? But like, this is the 13th movie. Thanks. This will be the 13th movie. They're missing out on Michael Myers is back. We've had 2 Michael Myers Halloween films, and they've made a good amount of money. I think Halloween Kills would have made a lot more if it wasn't on Peacock.
yeah.
It's like you're missing out on this. And then in I think 2017 or 2018, that Friday the 13th video game was a huge hit. I mean, they're just like fans are thirsty for this shit. People want another Friday the 13th. I'll be honest, I don't really give a shit because the best ones have already been made, in my opinion. But I'm curious, where do you think this franchise, when they get back to going, should go, Seth? And I want to know. So, like, this was the question I posed on Facebook, and I'm gonna read some of the comments if you guys don't mind. If Seth, if you don't mind, I'll just bring it up on the thing. Brett, stop texting me. Did you hear the joke about the deaf dude? Neither did he. Fucking Brett. God damn it. All right. Anyway, I asked the question to our Facebook followers, and I'm going to ask you guys, and I'd like to know in the comments, and we'll read them off, is if you had control of what happens to the next Friday the 13th franchise, for the next Friday the 13th franchise, what direction would you take the series next? I said, would you do a sequel to the remake from 2009, a reboot, a sequel to an earlier movie like Halloween did with 2018? They skipped over everything except for the very first movie. And I said, let us know in the comments. So I'm curious, Seth, and I'm going to throw you out to the wolves here. What would you do if you had control over Friday the 13th?
Well, I have ideas. I don't know if I want to share them.
Well, come on. Come on. What? Just come on. I've got a couple too. I'm going to throw mine out there. I've been sitting on mine for like 25 years. So.
Well, I'm just going to start with where I would the approach I would take.
Yeah.
I would have it as a sequel, sort of like lightly though, like it's because the continuity is really tough with them, and trying to find a way to fit a new one in without ignoring some or whatever.
But I wrote an article about the continuity of Friday the 13th on thehorrorsyndicate.com. Check it out. Go ahead.
Yeah. So
plug.
I would have it where the other movies happen, but I wouldn't be so beholden to them or anything like that. It's just like, okay, they happen. This is years later, without kind of any worry about where it would fit in specifically based on continuity. It would just almost like the remake. I mean, the remake could have been just another sequel.
Yeah, it could fit right in there anywhere, just about in the first like 3 or 4 movies, anyway.
Yeah. If not for where they had him get his hockey mask again, it really could have been any could have fit anywhere, but that's what I would do.
I always had this idea of I've never been a fan of Jason Goes to Hell, and that's not a knock on Adam Marcus. For the record, I like Adam Marcus quite a bit. He's a really great guy, and he did what he could with what he was told to do. But so like anything beyond Paramount, like Jason X, it's okay for what it is. Jason in space, blah, whatever. And then Freddy versus Jason's not my favorite movie by far. It's really not that good overall. It's fun, at times it's fun and there's some fun stuff in it, but I don't know. I when I was going in to see Freddy vs. Jason, I like this was building up, and you're probably the same way. Since 1988, like they were starting to whisper about that, and I'm like, yeah, this is Freddy vs. Jason. It was kind of like, oh, not what I wanted it to be. And as a fan, I know Nate would hate hearing me say that, but like, this is just like everybody. We were building something else up in our head. Sequel to the remake with Derek Mears, if not, well, Derek Mears said he'd come back.
He was a great Jason.
Other than Tommy Jarvis. I like Tommy Jarvis. I hated the poor man's scanners. Jason Goes to Hell. So my idea was basically Jason going back to Crystal Lake from New York. I know what happens at the end of Jason Takes Manhattan. I get it. I totally get it. But like, I thought about him going back to Crystal Lake, and Crystal Lake is like, it's been years, because it's going to take him a time to find his way back. It's been quiet. It's become a resort town now, like they built these like, what is that called, glamping and shit, like people are like, it's the cool place to go to camp, and it's been like 10-15 years. Finally Jason comes back, and Crystal Lake is not what it was before. It's not just a campground. It's like got hotels and shit, and there are people everywhere. And he just comes back and fucking takes care of business. There's more to it, and I brought back characters like Tina and Tommy Jarvis, because I do love Tommy Jarvis, all three of them. But something along those lines. It wasn't like going to be like tons of people, but like I like, seriously, if Jason's gone, why wouldn't they build some kind of attraction, to bring people to the lake?
See, your idea is actually kind of similar to the idea that I've been sitting on, which is basically Crystal Lake Resort, a really happening place.
Let's write it together.
We could.
Yeah.
At one area of the lake, there's like maybe a summer camp for kids, and it's full on, like it's fully booming. And then like you said, there's you could do the cabins and rental cabins, stuff like that, or hotels, like you said, whatever. And that's what I would do, is just have it really booming, right? It's summertime, it's fully operational, and you could do like 2, 3, and 4, how they're all like one after another. Each one is like Jason just hitting up different points of people on this one weekend. So
different parts of the lake, just like all the movies take place on different parts of the lake, in my opinion.
Yeah, so, exactly.
Yeah. By the way, it's called Return to Camp Blood. Anyway, we got some comments here. I would be curious to see what kind of creative twist they can throw on to give us something new. But at the same time, I don't know. I want to see him any other way. It's Jason. See, that's one thing that like I thought about also, and I think I talked to somebody about that. I also feel like Jason would work better in the 80s for some reason. I feel like taking him out of the 80s, I mean, maybe in the 90s would be fine, but like putting him now, I just don't, I don't know. Something about that doesn't feel right to me. My top films pretty much are everything before Manhattan. Manhattan is better than you think, people. Stick with a remake and do a sequel with Jarvis. That'd be kind of fun. Well, I mean, you don't really stray from formula from Friday the 13th anyway, Turn it into seniors nursing home camp rather than teenagers slaughter seniors. Jason versus the boomers. The resort idea is actually pretty good, different, but not taking the piss like bloody body swapping, yeah, or space. Well, we don't want that again. Yeah, I mean, there's tons of things you can do. Like, I wanted to kind of get in Vince DeSanti. If you've never seen Never Hike Alone, it's about 53 minutes, and there's Never Hike in the Snow and a video called Disappear. Check them out. They're on YouTube after the show, not now. If you leave, I'm done with you. But anyway, he came on the show, one of our older incarnations of the show, the Horror Syndicate Lives, and which was named after Jason Lives, by the way. The best Friday the 13th movie ever made, right? So
Second best.
Get the fuck out of here. Who loves Jason Lives? That's the question. Jason Lives or Final Chapter? Let's settle this now. In the comments, tell me which one you like better. So anyway, but Vince came up with this idea of Netflix buying Friday the 13th. This was before Netflix turned into a shit show, because it is a shit show now. He would like to make a sequel to each sequel, and make a sequel directly following the events of part 2, which I mean part 3 technically is, and part 4 is technically a sequel to part 3. I mean, because they pick up like right after. But do something along those lines, like what happened after Roy Burns in part 5? What happened after Jason Lives? I mean, we know what happens, but make a sequel directly after that. I mean, Never Hike Alone is technically a sequel to Jason Lives. I thought that was a cool idea. If you could skip sequels, though, like if you were going to sequel hop, what would you do? Like, would you make a sequel to part 5 or part 4? Or, like, what would you do?
It's tough because I prefer
Roseblood's awful.
Yeah.
It's one of the biggest pieces of shit ever made. So, Jason Lives. Oh man, that's 3 in a row.
Yeah, but I mean, you're paying them.
Yeah, I'm paying them. Yeah, it is. Seth, what do you think of Roseblood?
I didn't particularly care for it.
It's garbage. It's a waste of time. I'd go watch Firestarter.
Yeah, pretty much.
Jason Lives is my 3rd favorite after part 4. So part 4 is your favorite then? And then the remake. That's odd. Nobody says that about the remake. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
So the tough thing for me is I prefer Jason pre-zombie.
Alive.
So I really love, I know 3 is not the greatest, but I love the early ones. You know what I mean? I mean, I love part 6 as well. And even though he is a zombie in that one, I do love that movie, but I prefer the Jason of 2, 3, and 4. And so, a part of me would want to try to find a way to fit in with that, but because those movies are like one after another, timeline wise, it's kind of hard to fit in a story in between those. I think probably an interesting way to go would be to follow part 5 with having Tommy be the killer, because there is, part 5 goes back to part 1 in a lot of ways. It's the vengeful parent, and it's a different person using the Jason legend for his massacre. And then Tommy's kind of like his mental health is sort of deteriorating a little bit throughout that movie. And it kind of like teased at the very end that he was going to put on the mask and become a killer, and maybe just keep going with that theme.
Didn't he have the mask on?
Yeah.
And the knife? Yeah.
Yeah. And I would keep going. You could keep going with that theme where there's someone different putting on a hockey mask and using the Jason legend.
But almost turns into a kind of an anthology type of series after that.
Yeah. And I think it would be sort of in line with some of the things that already exist in the franchise with 1 and 5.
The whodunits.
Right. But
Yeah.
would that, I mean, it clearly wouldn't go over big with fans.
Was that clapping at Seth? Fine. Um, first of all, let me just say this. I think part 5 is criminally underrated.
Oh, absolutely.
I know there are problems with it, but like John Shepard, who plays Tommy, was really good.
He was
So,
badass.
yeah, he was. And I don't know. I think that like following part 5 makes sense because again, you're staying away. Friday the 13th can be like Halloween, be a choose your own adventure, horror series after that. But like you're staying away from zombie Jason, and you're picking up where they wanted to go originally with Tommy Jarvis becoming the killer. I,
Right.
and that would be kind of cool. Um, yeah, I think that would be really cool for sure. But I don't
Personally,
know. Like,
though, I would stick with the Crystal Lake Resorts idea. I like that
yeah,
one.
I like that too. I like Zombie Jason. I would probably still cast what's his name? My phone's going wild. From the remake, I read a lot. I forgot his name. Not Tyler Mane. What's his name? I'll clap for you, Seth. Great. You guys hate me. I'll just go fuck off and die. I'm a bad host. Um, anyway, if you guys are interested, I would like to go over these Facebook comments real fast. Hold on, I got another. Part 5 is my least favorite, although Ethel and Junior are to blame. Ethel and Junior are, wow, pile on Ray tonight. Looks like I'm unfriending some people today. Let's see, share screen. So we're gonna go over some of these. Seth, you cool with that?
Yeah, actually, I'm just gonna grab a water.
Okay. So this is from the Horror Syndicate's Facebook page. Obviously, that is Jason. So that was the question I asked. Seth said something. Let's see. Bren Peterson has been following the page for the whole time we've been alive. Sequel picking up after 8. Have it retro set back in the 80s or early 90s. Of course, he'd have to take a ferry back to Crystal Lake first, though. Bring Jason's dad back. Yeah, Elias. I think there's untapped potential there. That could be. Direct sequel that takes place after Freddy versus Jason years later. Jason wakes from the water as the camp. I should have just done a video on this. The camp has officially reopened for business, and business as usual ensues. Okay, I can't read today. I need my glasses. Freddy versus Jason sequel. Yeah, that's the other thing. Is Seth back? I can't see. Yeah. What do you think about a Freddy versus Jason sequel? Or I'd rather see just a whole new movie altogether.
I wouldn't want it.
Ever at all?
If you asked me, back when I was in my 20s, I would say, fuck yeah. I was super excited for Freddy vs. Jason.
Yes.
I saw it multiple times in theaters.
Me too.
I mean, the effect of it just stuck with me for years after. I didn't care about any of the flaws. I loved that movie for a long period of time. Now it's a little difficult to watch.
Yeah, I wish I was the same way. It was kick ass when I saw it, but like over the years, it just gets worse to me. Andrew Hinkman or Hinchman, is he Hinchman? Says Freddy vs. Jason sequel or a gritty modern reboot with Tommy Jarvis as the protagonist. Show in the beginning how he took out Jason as a kid. So this would still be kind of a sequel, and then have him bone back as an adult. I love reading Facebook comments because of errors. Bring back Corey Feldman as Tommy Jarvis and Freddie. Robert Englund's no, come on, Robert Englund's done. Stop. Okay, now everybody knows what that Jeremy Johnson guy does. I would create something like kids are playing and they find Pamela Voorhees' remains. They're tampering with it. It awakens Jason and Didn't that happen in a fan film
Uh,
or Jason Rising or something like that?
well, yeah, Pamela's headless body
That's right.
comes out Evil
Just like
Dead
Evil Dead.
style. Yeah.
Art the Clown, huh? Where did I leave off? Okay, Sean, Freddy vs. Jason was underwhelming. No Kane. Yeah, that was a big letdown. Not to a Freddy vs. Jason sequel. It barely worked. Made a lot of money though. And then Art the Clown. Bone. I don't know what that means. Jason NATO. Oh hell no. Team of mercenaries sent on the woods to get him like aliens or Predator. That kind of thing. Well, they did that at the beginning of Jason Goes to Hell. I'd go the Halloween 2018 route and pick up after Jason Lives and keep the first 6 movies canon. I'd be cool with that. Would you be cool with that? Mr. Jason Lives isn't the best movie.
I'm obviously cool with that. There's so many fan films that are doing that. Everyone's kind of picking up from. It seems like
Ken Kersinger was the best Jason. Yikes! Is that for real? Oh, this one has 8 replies. I'm not going to bother reading that one. I'm going to look at it. Okay, so 2 words: Disco Jason. Who wants a Disco Jason? We had the disco theme in part 3. Jason falls like a meteor from space directly into Crystal Lake, where a new camp has been death free for years and is thriving, teen band camp. So like American Pie 2 meets Friday the 13th. Well, Jason X, because if he's coming from a meteor, but Earth is dead in that movie. So just keep letting Womp Stomp make. If a major studio, I already know what Vince wants to do if he ever got like real funding. So, well, the best way is to forget about 8 through 10. Okay, make it a fight between Tommy and Jason. Yeah. And that Tommy takes the mantle. I don't think after part 6. No, that's a good question. Do you think after part 6 Tommy would take the mantle of Jason? I think he's clear in the head at that point.
no, yeah, part 6 really kind of put an end to that idea.
Yeah, I agree. Like, there's no way you could do that. A Pamela prequel is coming. I would like something like that. I don't know, man. She got her movie. David Gill, a friend of the show. I would take a sequel to the remake for sure, but I still think the idea of a 13th movie getting all of the final main characters together would be awesome. Yeah, they talked about doing that in that documentary, getting some of the final girls together. Bring in Ash Williams before Bruce retires. Bruce has retired that character, right?
Yeah.
I really think a Tommy Jarvis storyline or even involving Ginny from part 2. But please, no Corey Feldman. Let it be the guy from part 6. Yeah, Tom Matthews. All right, last one. I'd erase everything that came after 6 from the timeline and make a sequel to 6 in the same style. Have Tom McLaughlin direct it. That's what I would do. I feel 6 was them perfecting the formula and making the perfect Friday movie. 7 seemed like they ran out of ideas and lost their way. Well, I mean, they brought Tina in, and Tina had supernatural powers, which is not something we had seen at that up to that point. So it was something they tried to do something different. I like Part 7. That's our good friend Keith Saunders' favorite. So some interesting ideas. A lot of people seem to like. Well, a few people like the idea of doing a movie after Part 6 and erasing Part 7. I say keep Part 7 in. I like that one. I hate the ending, but the ending was a piece of shit. But I say keep it. What do you think?
I say keep all the Paramount movies.
The Paramount 8s. Let's call them the Paramount 8.
You know, like Jason, I'm not a fan at all of Jason Takes Manhattan, but
I don't want to hear about it right now.
But well, my friend and I, we talk about Friday 13th and stuff all the time, and you know, there's just something about the Paramount movies, even the bad one, you know, that there's just something about them.
Yeah, they have a certain feel, a certain flow. The casting is really, it's not great because nobody's really great in these movies, but I love the Paramount movies. When they went to New Line and made Jason Goes to Hell, something was definitely lost. And of course, there's that whole Sean wanted to get rid of that damn hockey mask, and his body jumping and all that bullshit. If you're new, please subscribe to the Horror Syndicate on YouTube or like the page. I don't like new lines. I like old lines. My friend James, who is a figure creator, just got back from LA and hung out with Tom at house. That's pretty cool. Tom Matthews. Vince, if Vince ever watches this, that fool needs to get us in contact with Tom Matthews so we can have him as a guest on the show. Would you guys like it if we had Tom Matthews on the show? Let us know in the comments. Or don't. I mean, you comment whatever you want anyway. You never listen to me. Nobody ever listens to me. That's like a running theme. I must be shit for brains or something.
I'm sorry.
So that was a fun conversation. Tom McLaughlin. Would you like to see him direct another one?
Oh yeah.
Doesn't he have a script out there for something that takes place in the winter or something like that?
Yeah. Jason Never Dies.
Yeah. Yeah. How much do you know about that?
Just parts of it, whatever he revealed in that bloody disgusting interview that I sent to the group chat.
Yeah.
That you didn't read.
I didn't have time. I was busy.
It really sounded like a really cool idea, and as much as we bust each other's balls about Jason Lives versus Final Chapter, I love Jason Lives. I think it's a great movie, well directed, really fun, and I would definitely love to see McLaughlin return.
So, like, since I didn't read it and they don't know what you're talking, may not know. Can you tell us a little bit about it? More like, other than the snow thing? Oh, sorry. This bell.
Okay, I'm trying to remember. It was like I think his idea had an all female cast. It was like girls head into like some sort of like camp, like Catholic camp or whatever, and like they had like this nun with them or whatever, and because of a snowstorm, they got stranded and have to be at Camp Crystal Lake, and none of them apparently know about Jason, and yeah, and like I would, if you can, just link that article.
I'll pull up the chat real fast and take a look at it.
Because there's like cool, like he has some like storyboard stuff done too. So there's some really cool like storyboard.
Is it in that article? Because I should pull that up right now, actually.
Yeah, it's in that article.
We talk too much. There's a lot of stuff in there. Like A24 scares all the horror fans or the slasher fans or whatever.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. I'm gonna share the screen again. And there's concept art. It's the bloody disgusting one, right?
Yep.
All right. Jason Lives director Tom McLaughlin shares concept art for his sequel, Jason Never Dies. Okay, blah blah blah. Let's get past that.
And I would definitely recommend for people to read this whole interview.
I'll put the link in the comments.
Yeah, because his ideas sounds really cool. Like I would really want to see this movie.
I wonder who did this. The art.
I don't know. It's cool if you go up, like like it's the store Karloff's. Not that one.
That was the first image I saw. Is there another one? Did
It's
I miss one? The second image. Yeah, Karloff's, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the store, and Jason Lives, where Tommy's making the phone call.
Some great images.
Yeah.
Okay. That's all that is. That's cool. I am going to put the link in there for everybody that would like to read that. Oh my god. Do they have any way to make that link shorter? Jesus Christ. That's like the longest link of all time. Oh, fuck it, whatever. If you guys want to click on it, that's on you. There it is. YouTube made it shorter. Hi Scott, how you doing? We're talking Friday the 13th right now. Jump in, tell us what you would do with the sequel if you want to. The weakest final. Yes, Chris is the worst. She destroys that movie for me. Not to mention all the trying to do 3D stuff. Jason Goes to Wine Country, takes out a bunch of Karens. I'm doing good. Okay.
His mom was pretty much a Karen, wasn't she?
Excuse me, she was a Pamela. Well, I mean, she had reason to be mad. I mean, they
No, I know.
had her kid drown, basically. You know, it's like, I don't think you should go off killing people. So the Diary of Pamela Voorhees. Do you know anything about that?
Just a little bit, like, because I've read that interview. It's another one from Tom McLaughlin. I think he wrote with I think the guy that made Jason Risen.
Do you know what they should do? They should make him the Kevin Feige, and he is the puppet master for the Friday the 13th series from now on. He doesn't have to direct everything, but he's like, I mean, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah,
and
he wants in.
He does. Fucking hire him. He's not doing anything. Probably. There was a post about it earlier. I'm lost on that. Anyway, there's a delay, by the way, if you guys didn't know. Tommy there. I knew it. There's Nate. Anyway, tell us what you know of that, if you will, the Pamela Rising. Or Diary of Pamela, not Pamela Rising, Jesus.
Oh, yeah. I think it was maybe in the 40s, late 40s, something like that. Pamela has a kid, and I guess she kills people who are kind of like threats to Jason. And apparently, according to his idea, that it'll end with them arriving at Camp Crystal Lake, settling in there in the 50s. I'm not too... I just read it the other day, but I'm not too familiar. I would suggest reading the article.
We link that too.
He explains it. He explains it pretty well.
It's another bloody disgusting article with a massive ass link. So this bloody disgusting does nothing but have 10,000 character links. So yeah, that's in the comments also for anybody who wants to read that.
But would you want to see a Pamela movie?
No, not at all. I don't know how interesting that would be, because she doesn't exact her revenge until 1979 in the first movie. So
right. And she only kills two kids there.
But that's right. That's like right after the fact, isn't it?
Right. And then after that, the only thing that is mentioned about what happened in the area in between that event and 1980 was basically her setting fires and poisoning the water, stuff like that.
Keeping the camp from being open. So my question is, like, what did she do after Jason died for all those years? Did she, like, read it in the newspaper, then go back, I'm going to poison the water, I'm going to shit in the water? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what was she doing in that time? And then when Steve Christie comes along, she finally is like, fuck these people. I'm gonna get them all.
Right. Well, I just assumed that she would have stayed in the area, and she's a local to the area, so she would know when someone's trying to open up. And not to mention, she says that she's a friend of the Christies in the first one. So
maybe she works at the diner that Steve Christie goes to. And that was her night off.
It's very possible.
Listen, I need Friday the 13th off.
Yeah.
Okay, Steve Christie got hit on by that old lady. How about a night on the town? I don't know though. Pamela was never really interesting to me. The first movie, really, and we've talked about this, is not really that great anyway. It's one of those situations where it's middle to end of the pack for me as far as rankings go. It's just I do watch it once a year, but it's like I have to because the way my brain works. If I'm gonna eventually watch the rest of the movies, I have to watch from the beginning. So like I like right now I've watched. Oh, good. Now Pennywise is here. So we've had Art the Clown and Pennywise. Hey guys, Art, Pennywise, subscribe. Oh, hold on, I read that. How about do a film with Jason growing up in the woods? That would be kind of cool. Like seeing what he went through but I don't know if you could do a whole film that way. Um, seeing him grow up and through the years. I mean, I would like to see that. I'd like to see the first movie from his perspective. Like, does Pamela even know he's alive? You know, is that really even Jason, or are they using the legend because of this creepy dude? Or is it Elias, his dad?
That's the tough thing with the sequels. As good as they are, as much as I love them, they do take away from Pamela's motivation and backstory from the first one. And it's hard to believe that if she was still a local, she still was very active and present in the area, especially in the times where she was sabotaging the camp. That she didn't know that Jason was alive. But you never know that they could do something where they just barely missed each other. Like I don't know. But then that would mean Jason's surviving in the woods on his own, and he is mentally handicapped.
But he could build a shack like nobody's business.
Yeah.
There's a lot of problems with the Friday the 13th. As much as I love them, there are a lot of problems with this series. There's a lot of good. There's a lot of bad. There's a lot that you just can't really explain. And
but the idea of like a young Jason in the woods, like a sort of prequel, like Pennywise suggests, you could do something really cool with that. Where Jason's a kid trying to survive on his own. He's scared. Maybe he runs into hunters or people who are trying to who want to bring harm to him. I don't know.
How about a complete prequel where it takes place the day that Jason drowns, and we see that he survives, and you know what I'm saying? Like we see how that goes, and then by the end of the movie, Pamela kills those two counselors. Spoiler alert, by the way, if you've never seen Friday the 13th. But something like that would be kind of cool. Maybe, I don't know. Pamela Voorhees, if they do a prequel, could be portrayed by Jamie Lee Curtis. No, Jamie Lee Curtis is too old to do that, I think. Isn't Sigourney Weaver Vera Farmiga? Is that how you say? I don't know how to say her name. She could be okay. Victor always said there was no way Pamela did what she did had she not buried her son. Had she not found his body. Well, that's Victor. I mean, he had no say over what happened in the sequels. So I don't know. Like,
right, but
that body out of the water though.
That speaks to her whole motivation.
Yeah.
You would think that the lake would have been dredged and they would have got his body. I mean, unless he, floated out into the Atlantic.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? His body could have made it to Manhattan at some point. The whole thing between the original or the sequel, and maybe he wasn't there for that, and he came back and just found his mom's head. Like, I came all the way from New York, and all I got was my mom's head on the ground.
Yeah,
because again, in the fucking first movie anyway, we see him as a kid, and I know it's like a dream sequence, really, but I don't know. It's fucking series of a mess, man. How old are we making Jason's mom? Like, seriously. I don't know. I how old do you think she was only, I think she was only in her 40 or early 40s, I think, when in the original movie, wasn't she? Her tombstone pops up in the fucking movie, part 4. I'm gonna look it up. Pamela Voorhees tombstone. I'm curious because Jamie Lee Curtis is 63.
I
Pamela
would definitely
Voorhees.
say no to Jamie Lee Curtis. She's got Halloween franchise.
Yeah. Okay, so she's 49. She was 48 or 49 when she died. So she was born in 1930. I don't know if she ever got hitched with Elias, but what was the fan film that he's in?
Vengeance.
Vengeance. That movie sucked too. And I think they're making another one. C.J. Graham was played Elias for. I'm not gonna lie; some of these fan films are garbage. If you guys want to go out, if you need your Friday the 13th fix, there are Roseblood, which I'm gonna give a -5. That movie is awful. Vengeance, which I'll give a 1 or a 2. The Jason Rising, which was okay, but the best ones are Never Hike Alone. Never Hike in the Snow was pretty good. That's it. What, am I missing one? Oh, Voorhees. That was go and you know the best part is when you watch them on YouTube, read the comments and get soak in all the fucking praise. It's by their friends. Um, I don't know. The series is a mess. I do hope they make one more just to make it a 13, but I still find it funny that Halloween's going to make it a 13 before Friday the 13th because Halloween Ends is coming out in what 5 months, like
Mm-hmm.
almost exactly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll eventually have to do a theory show. Have you been a good boy about this, Seth? Staying away from all the bullshit rumors and possible spoilers out there, scripts, because I know you like to read scripts.
I have not looked for any scripts at all. Um, I know some dumb fan theories that are floating around.
Tony
Um,
Collette's way too good for Friday the 13th, in my opinion. Yeah, anything worth mentioning? Well, while we're may as well. I don't know what else to say about Friday the 13th and this lawsuit and what to do next. And I just Jason Lives is the best.
yeah, they're just dumb fan theories. I think floating around. One of them is that it's gonna be all just a dream. It's like, yeah, that was it's such a creatively bankrupt idea. It was cool when Bob Newhart did it, but let's it just that's just such a dumb idea.
That would
There
be
was,
like the biggest kick in the nuts of all time,
yeah.
like
Well,
for a horror fan.
I think the problem is like a lot of fans, like I think they kind of like they overread what some of these people say. Like David Gordon Green and Jamie Lee Curtis. I think they over exaggerate their comments, and to just really kind of make everything sound good. Oh, this is going to piss off the fans, or you know, we're going to do something here, and the fans kind of take it and they run with these wild theories.
Halloween Kills kind of pissed off the fans.
Yeah,
A lot of them, me included. I was not happy with that movie when I first saw it. Now I just don't give a shit.
yeah.
What's your hype level now?
Um, I mean, I'm still excited, but until we get a trailer, which I'm going to try to not see, but
Bullshit.
it's I'm weak willed.
I, I am calling bullshit right now.
Yeah, no, I'll definitely watch it, but that's when I'll probably start getting excited. Um, yeah.
What? Okay, so right now we've pretty much exhausted our topics. If you have any questions that you want to ask us or anything you want us to discuss real fast, let us know. I want to make sure everybody knows next week we're not going to have a show at all. My birthday is next week, and I'm not fishing for birthday stuff. Not at all. But we'll be back the week after that, which I think is June already. So we're only going to have 2 shows in May. Last week I was on vacation. So June 1st will be our next show after that. And oh shit, thank you. Have you seen Fresh? on Hulu. Has anybody seen the movie Fresh on Hulu?
I think maybe Keith has. I think I saw Keith posted something about it
Did he?
a while back.
That movie's fucked up. Sorry. I was at her house the other night, and she's like, "I'm gonna put this movie on right before we went to bed," and I'm like, "I don't." I was thinking in my head, I don't want to watch something that I have never seen before. She's like, "You need to watch it," and I was like, "What's it about?" And she's like, I can't really tell you what it's about," and I'm like, "Is it a horror movie?" I'm like, I'm sitting there thinking. She's like, "I don't know." So it's about Sebastian Stan, Winter Soldier's in it, and I'm not familiar with the female in the movie, but basically, she goes on a shitty date with this complete douchebag asshole, and she was up front with him and told the guy that she wasn't gonna go on a second date or something like that. Anyway, eventually she's out shopping and she runs into Sebastian Stan, who's very handsome, of course, and he they go out on a date and they have a great conversation. The movie's shot beautifully, by the way. For anybody who is like a cinematography kind of nerd or whatever, this is a beautifully shot film. But she takes him back to her place. I guess they have sex or something like that, and then they decide to go away on a trip. And that's all I can tell you because the movie is really fucked up. It was definitely worth watching. It was not what I expected because I never saw a trailer for it. Sherry just said watch it, and I did. I didn't finish it that night, but the next day I went home and I watched it. And dude, it's definitely worth watching. If anybody who is watching has not seen Fresh, I absolutely 100% recommend it. She calls it a female horror movie because it's made by a woman. Like there are I was trying to find the horror in it. I could see it, but like I don't know. It's hard to say. I guess you have to judge for yourself. It's streaming on Hulu. It's an absolute movie to watch, and I have a feeling that if we decide, Nate, I need to know if you've seen it also because I'm curious to find out if you think it's a horror movie because your net is really wide compared to mine. I think yours is too, Seth. But do you have Hulu?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if you get a chance, watch it with Amber, and I'm curious to see what she would say about it. I liked it a lot, man. And it kind of stays with you, you know. Like I remember It Follows stayed with me after I watched that and the Autopsy of Jane Doe because it kind of stuck with me after that. I had to sit there and think about it. I'm like, what the fuck did I just watch? And the girl that I'm dating is the one who recommended this shit to me. I'm scared now. So anyway, uh, yeah, that's one of the best parts about it is the needle drops. They're all like late 80s music for the most part, and it's really and Sebastian Stan sings along to some of them. Yeah, definitely check out Fresh if you've never seen it before. Again, streaming on Hulu. I liked it a lot. I think I need to watch it again. Maybe I'll have to review it for the horrorsyndicate.com because it's like how I am about movies that are what they're listed as on like IMDb or whatever. It's not listed as it's actually listed as a comedy thriller. I'm like, comedy? How is this a comedy? I can't tell you what happens in the movie. You need to just watch it.
Well, I know you got a section on the website where you could label something as "Is it horror?" Right?
Yeah, we did that. We were doing this whole I don't know like whole idea. Like there's a bunch of movies that I was like, is this really a horror movie? Like Altered States. Have you ever seen that before?
No.
Yeah, so I wasn't sure if that was ever like considered a horror movie, and so me and Jared talked about it, and I was like, should we maybe do this thing? Is it horror? And I think we only did a few articles that way. Is it horror? But there's definitely some movies that you could kind of say, well, is that horror? I don't know. Like Tremors, is Tremors horror?
Kind of.
Is Godzilla horror?
It's like, yeah, 50s horror,
Well, it's the atomic age of horror. So
right, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Anyway, wow. As soon as we stopped talking about Friday the 13th, everybody left. Fuck it. Is there anything else you want to talk about before we wrap this episode up? Because I am good to go if you are.
When are we gonna do our Hellraiser episode?
This summer. No, we will. I just need to watch them because we're going to do all the sequels, right?
Yeah.
I definitely would like to delve into the It movies because I have not. I've been like, I she mentioned them and like now I've been wanting to watch them. And then she was watching the remake of Carrie yesterday, I think, or 2 days ago. I was like, damn, I don't think we've talked about Carrie, and that's. But I think that one's one we'll have to wait for Nate for because I know Nate really loves Carrie. Um, I'm pretty sure he does anyway. I can't remember if he does or not. But yeah, I mean there's I don't know what we're doing on June 1st. I just know that I can't do Hellraiser that fast because I have to watch how many are we gonna cover all the sequels or what are we covering?
I would go with all the sequels, but some of them we don't have to spend as much time on.
Yeah, we did that once before on the Horror Syndicate Live years ago, and boy, it was like a 3 hour episode. So we may have to break it up and do like 2 through 4 and then the rest. you know,
We could do
uh,
that. Yeah.
that's probably something we'll have to do without Nate also. I don't think he has much interest in the Hellraiser sequels. Um, I don't
We
know.
didn't ask him what he wanted.
That's true. Well, Nate's going to be out for like what 6 weeks or something like that. So off the show, I mean, he's got a lot going on. We'll see what happens. I don't know. I don't really care what we talk about as long as it's horror related and as long as we have a good time. What would you think about coming back talking about it? Those the 2017 and 19 movies. Just do an it episode. Would you
Yeah, we
be
do
down
that.
to clown? Get it? Maybe we'll do that. Give me time to watch them both. Actually, I ordered a bootleg the other day that it was both movies combined into one, and the deleted scenes were added back in. So I might have that by then because I'd really like to see that. Because I ordered this guy. There's a page that a Facebook guy who does these bootlegs or whatever, and I'm not going to ever say who it is, of course. But he also did or she the Netflix Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So I went ahead and grabbed that because I'm a huge Texas Chainsaw fan. I'd like to have it in the collection, even though it wasn't the greatest movie ever made. Did you? I don't remember. Did you like that one or no?
I didn't at first. I remember. I think I was pretty bitter about it when it came out.
So
But
that was you. Keith was the one that liked it a lot.
yeah. But
I had fun with it.
I've seen it a few times since then, and it has been growing on me.
How many times have you seen it since then?
I've seen it a total of 3 times,
Okay.
3 or 4 times. Because the last time I watched it with Violet because she loves the first one.
Yeah. See, Reynolds, I think that was the first one he watched. And then I had him go back and watch the original. He watched 2, which is his favorite. And then we watched the remake. So he hasn't seen 4, which, I mean, that movie's a fucking mess. Anyway, cool. I think we're gonna go ahead and end the show a little early tonight. No, Jared didn't show up. Nate, he's out doing his thing. And next week again, if you're missed it earlier, we will not be having a show again. And then we'll be back on June 1st with a whole new show. Hopefully, Jared will be back. I'm not sure when Nate's going to almost disappear. But I don't know. I'm not sure when his last show is. If he comes back for that episode, I'd like to do Carrie. So let me find out. I'm gonna message the group real fast. When are you going away? Okay. We got a couple more comments real fast. Thanks for sticking around. I appreciate her coming back, whichever one you did. I have not watched Midnight Mass yet. That's on Netflix, isn't it? Have you watched it? No.
I haven't.
Is that your brother?
Yeah. I think it's kind of cool though that it because that's Flanagan, and the book that the chick was writing in, or one of her books in Hush, was Midnight Mass.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's cool.
That's awesome. All right. Well, if you haven't subscribed to the Horror Syndicate on YouTube, do so. Hit the what's yes. Netflix is fantastic. It's fantastic. I'll get around to it. Is it a show or a movie?
I think it's a show.
It's a show.
I could be wrong.
I got so much shit I gotta watch. I still gotta watch Rock of Love with Bret Michaels. So, because that's a guilty pleasure. Anyway,
I'm knee deep back into rewatching Supernatural. So
of course, yeah, I bet you are. You watched it, Sherry? Of course you did. You got more things that you've seen that I haven't seen. How about that? Debating on if I should call her tonight. Probably not. Anyway, Seth, it was great talking to you as usual. Yeah. I'm glad that you are feeling better. And you think you're out of the woods?
Yeah, pretty much. Still just lingering cough and stuff like that, but took another test yesterday and it's negative. So
you're going back to work?
I went back to work today.
Ah, fuck.
And I'm going to try to do some overtime this weekend because I had pretty much 2 weeks in a row of small paychecks.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking COVID.
With her. So Nate will not be on for June 1st. Okay. So now we know for sure. Get some steroids, Steph. All right. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Love the loyal fan base or whatever you guys. I hate calling people fans. But again, we'll be back June 1st. Seth, will you be back on June 1st?
Most likely. I don't think I got anything else going on.
Me either. All right. I love you all. Good night. Bye.